Daddy, is it true that the Liberals and the NDP want to add a $75 tax on iPods?
Ha ha ha. No son, that's just plain silly. Where did you hear that?
Tony Clement, the Minister of Industry, and James Moore, the Minister of Canadian Heritage and Official Languages, announced it. It's right there on the Conservative Party website. They call it the Ignatieff-led coalition's massive new iPod tax.
You don't say.
Yes. And the two ministers even used Twitter to alert Canadians to the dangers of the Liberals' iPod tax. They told everyone where the announcement would take place using a tweet.
Well, those conservatives certainly have become a tech-savvy bunch.
But Dad, is it true? Why do the Liberals and the NDP want to tax iPods? And why $75? That's a lot.
Now son, what did your old dad always tell you? Never trust a politician, especially a conservative. This is just another example of the conservatives' use of the big lie.
What's a big lie, Dad?
The big lie is a propaganda technique where an organization such as a political party focuses on one small aspect of some issue and exaggerates the impact of the issue to an absurd conclusion.
But why is it called a big lie, Dad?
Because the lie is often so outrageous that people believe it must be true. Sometimes there's a small grain of truth somewhere deep down inside the lie, other times the whole thing is just a big fabrication. The spreader of the big lie seems to believe, if they say it often enough, and make the lie big enough, people will believe it.
Like Billy at school, Dad? He once said that a pack of wild dogs attacked him on the way to school and ate his homework. He said it was a pack of wild dogs that had escaped from a genetically modified organism experiment. He said that the dogs had been injected with the DNA of termites, so that they only ate paper and other wood products.
Well, that's certainly quite a tale. Yes, you could say that was one small example of the use of the big lie technique.
But what did the Liberals and the NDP really propose, Dad?
Well, it wasn't just the Liberals and NDP that made the proposal. It's a new copyright law that is before the Parliament that, among other things, would more fairly compensate musicians for the distribution of their music in a digital format.
You mean, like the music that I play on my iPod?
That's right, son. Like the Justin Bieber and Lady Gaga music you play on your iPod.
But what about the $75 tax on iPods, Dad? Where did that come from?
Well, currently there is a tax on blank cassette tapes and CDs that is supposed to go to recording artists to compensate them for music that is copied onto the tapes and CDs. One of the provisions of the new copyright law is that there would be a tax on flash memory and hard drives, just like there is now on blank cassette tapes and CDs. The additional tax on flash memory and hard drives would be used to compensate recording artists for music that is downloaded onto the flash memory or hard drive.
Like the flash memory that is used in iPods, right, Dad? So it's not just iPods that would be subject to the new tax, right? It could be any device that uses flash memory or a hard drive, and that could be used to store music. Right?
Right you are, son.
But where did the figure of $75 come from?
Well, here again is the use of the big lie. It seems that the Minister of Industry and the Heritage Minister just pulled this number out of thin air. No one has ever said that the tax would amount to $75 per iPod. That's just an absurd figure that the Conservatives are using to try and scare everyone.
But still, Dad. It was still the Liberals and NDP who were in favor of this new tax, wasn't it, Dad?
Well, in fact, it was the Standing Committee on Canadian Heritage that voted to include devices with internal memory in the definition of recording medium. The 5 Conservative members of the committee voted against it. 2 Liberal members, 2 NDP members, and 1 Bloc Québécois member voted for it. So it was a tie vote. The chairman, who is a Conservative, voted in favor along with the Liberals, NDP and Bloc Québécois to break the tie. So it can hardly be called a proposal from just the Liberal Party. And the most interesting thing about all of this was that the vote took place on March 16, 2010. So this is really old news.
Okay, I think I see now. The Conservatives took a legitimate issue and focused on one small aspect of the issue and then created a lie about it. Is that right?
That's right, son. That's the big lie.
But why, Dad? Why would they do that? Why do they think they have to lie about it?
Because they think there's going to be an election in Canada soon, son, and they just want to be re-elected.
Why, Dad? Why do the Conservatives want to be re-elected?
Well, some people just like to hold positions of power over others and to impose their beliefs on everyone else, even though not everyone shares those beliefs.
You mean, like Billy at school, who likes to pull the wings off flies, and to tell everyone that there's really no such thing as Santa Claus?
Unfortunately, yes, son. Something like that.